welcome back to Coteries in New York. This has just been the playthrough from hell, hasn't it? Combining my terrible commentary with constant fucking technical issues. Hopefully it's fixed. I don't really have a way of going back and redoing the previous videos without just starting the game over entirely. And, that's kind of a problem. Yeah. I don't know, maybe at some point I'll learn to not suck and find some way to fix those, but for the foreseeable future, I don't think it's gonna happen. Moving on! Gonna have to start checking these after every single video. Looks like that. Really? Immediately? This is gonna go wonderfully, isn't it? Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes you by, sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn for DeKalb Avenue into Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner, next to an ambulance. Confirm that you're in the right place. I feel like I read that wrong somehow. And I'm not entirely sure where I fucked it up. You move closer to what appears to be the New York's finest convention. Man, that was so bad it could have been one of my jokes. Looking around in the hope of spotting a familiar, if not altogether rather pleasant, face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the building looks straight at you. He gives you a double take and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way towards you. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you, dismissively, and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey! This is an active crime scene. Be on your way! I'm pretty sure that was a tiny bit of Brooklyn and a bit more, what was that, Scottish? I have no idea what I was doing. Relieved, but trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigar and cheap cologne didn't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around in the first place, but still. Come on. Parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. Apparently, I say, feeding opportunity. We can take them. I wasn't given an option there. That was a glitch, I'm pretty sure. We can take them, no sweat. See? There's only 2 of them. That we know of. I'd be more inside. I don't know, kid. I can handle risky. But this seems downright stupid. I don't want to try to pick fucking fight with the cops, so... Yeah, I'm babysitting a phone right now. Sorry about that. I hate phones. Yeah, you're probably right. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, let's let D'Angelo take the lead on this. Hey, how about you do your shadowy, skulky thing? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside. Chat. We're getting a lot of glitches today. Weird, it just updated. Shadowy, skulky thing. Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, it's as good an approach as any, I guess. Well, it's shaping up to be one of those days already, isn't it? Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another one, then another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if you, moldy partner, has gotten himself in trouble? I think they broke something with the last update. They broke it bad. Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least, you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building, opposite the two cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find that a ladder leading to a fire escape has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed, knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on a cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean in a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. It's been kind to him so far. The questions kept piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catches your attention? This place is a mess. Yeah, no shit. His gift, our fate. Yeah, there's that. What do you think it means? About Cain, duh. His gift. Isn't there a theory that Cain was the first vampire? Oh, it's more than a theory. To some, it's a deeply held belief. Yeah, you're right. About the gift of Cain, as in vampirism. Our fate. Clearly, someone wasn't too happy to receive it. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Which is? Me being right about thin blood involvement, I mean. Anyway, it looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Sure, might as well be prudent. In for a penny, in for a pound, might as well be prudent. My thoughts exactly. The Duskborn have it bad as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaking the masquerade, I want solid evidence. And I mean rock fucking solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who will get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes the call. Hey, you know who this is. Yeah, that favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. Murder in Bed-Stuy. I don't know how I don't know how to pronounce that. Bed-Stuy? And I just noticed I forgot to put my timer on. Shit. Guess we're going a little long on this one. Or short. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. Are we good? So, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions. Especially the sort that makes up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over at the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It doesn't, or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. We saw an EMT there? That wasn't brought up. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back, making sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112, you got 20 minutes. D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. "That's our cue." You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall, and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face, his features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Yeah, being chokeslammed through a fucking glass coffee table usually isn't what one would consider peaceful. Looking closely, you notice two small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you're yet to see it. Looking over to D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar motion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Jesus, the look on his face is like nightmare fuel. No kidding. Which means he was fully aware all the way through. He knew he was dying. Which, combined with the blood loss and the teeth marks on his neck, confirms our hypothesis. We have a thin blood serial on our hands. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. Yeah, let's go with the feeding opportunity. It could actually be to our benefit here. I forgot to read that. But luckily, we can go back and look. Eventually. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging your fangs into his aorta. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. Every fucking time, huh? It takes you a moment to get your fill, but when you're finally done, you immediately feel D'Angelo's eyes upon you. You start coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. You're quick, kid. I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Delightful. Now, come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen a visit. I know that looks like narration text. It's very obviously not. Man, I don't know if the update did that or if this part of the game just wasn't done properly, but Jesus. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of this shit. Your shit. Yeah. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes back against the lamppost. Are you finished? Alright, now you listen to me and you listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you made for yourself? Now, you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looks speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Come on, Larson, just give us something. It's been a rough night. Say, Robert, my assistant here is tired of your shit too. So, what's it gonna be? Want my help? Put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. Go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourselves standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. Also, the Star Wars reference there. I know you're not supposed to, date your videos and all, but, it's rather appropriate since I'm actually making this video, I think the same day that Star Wars Episode 9 comes out. I'm just gonna pretend that was intentional for my benefit. Even though it obviously wasn't. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. We don't have auspex. Yeah, Bruja get potence, celerity, and presence. Super strength, super speed, super charisma. I gotta know what'll happen if we hit it. Focusing your senses, you plunge into the full spectrum of the room. Fuck you, phone. Hoping to hear someone or something worthy of attention. You regret it almost immediately. Instantly. The room becomes a deafening echo chamber, a sea of babbling lunatics, of muttered curses, and drug-induced ramblings. You're almost ready to give up when a faint whisper catches your attention. A female voice, soft, trembling. Gift speaks to us. The blood speaks. A few words are enough to tell you you've just hit the jackpot. You follow the voice to its source, a young woman hunched in the corner of the room. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre. I'm assuming that's right. I've never seen that word before in my life. It's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. Just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender.
Alright, you look quiet. Got it. You like quiet. Got it. Can you tell me your name?
Santa. That's what he called me. Suddenly, you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There's a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Maybe it's the cat eyes and gray skin. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. She smiles. You smile nervously without even knowing it. Should we do the dumb asshole option? I don't know. That's a bit too dumb even for me. Hello there, and who might you be? As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious specimen of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance.
You! Hey, Val! That's my assistant you got there. You mind?
She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen and awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she?
You have to be a bit more specific, darling.
Don't play coy. Ginny? Oh yeah, because he said his friends call him Jin. The manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. Oh shit. By order of the prince herself, the girl is to meet her final death. This is an important one. Blood hunt. A punishment sentencing a vampire to final death at the fangs of their peers. The code of the kindred and the system for punishing transgression is the law of retaliation. Okay, when someone fucks up real bad, a blood hunt gets called. Usually just the sheriff is sent out to collect them. When a blood hunt gets called, pretty much everyone in the city has carte blanche to find and kill them however they see fit. This includes diablerie, which is normally punishable by death under any circumstances. It's just kind of ignored most of the time when a blood hunt is involved. We're not going to talk about diablerie right now, because it'll probably come up later. Suffice to say, it's the worst thing you can do to somebody, and you can do some fucking horrible things to people in Vampire the Masquerade.
Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something too.
Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. Ew. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job.
By all means.
He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look to the corner where you last saw Santa, but find no trace of the girl.
Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here.
Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this.
Story of my life.
Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction.
Come on, kid, let's get out of this shithole.
As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost.
Okay, kid, I know you got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you have one question, make it count.
Well, the obvious one. Our perp's gone, now we're on some psycho chick's shit list. What the hell do we do now?
Well, the good news is, we know who we're looking for. The bad news is, Valerie knows it as well.
She's a scourge. Oh shit! I mentioned the scourge earlier. Now I got to explain it properly this time. Actually, I think the video that I mentioned it, you couldn't hear me. Scourge, an executor? I don't know. Subordinated directly to the prince. Basically, the sheriff is the public law enforcement. The Scourge is the prince's personal spy and assassin. In other words, the sheriff is the law, like Judge Dredd, and the Scourge is like Deathstroke the Terminator from DC Comics. Oftentimes about as powerful. You don't get to be Scourge if you're a pussy.
She's a Scourge kid, part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the ass. We'll be seeing more of her, you can bet on that. And before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out, keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two.
And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him, it really has been a rough night. That was actually perfectly timed, not only because we're low on time, but also because my throat hurts. When we start up next time, we'll end the night, and then, I don't know, I'll think of somebody else to bug. For now, I'm going to go check to make sure that this video didn't fuck up like the last 3. And I just noticed that the roads on this map here are veins. That's actually pretty cool. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, blah 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.